Hey everyone, welcome back to Drawbridge Finance. My name is Levi Woods and I am not a financial advisor, but I am a long-time investor. I wanted to make a video about how I personally manage the trades that I make within my portfolio. As a dividend investor, what happens is the dividends are kind of constantly rolling in, and so the cash value of my account is being generated on a monthly basis. I've done this little mock spreadsheet for an account, and this one has a total of $70,000 in it. And that is going to generate a monthly dividend of around $294 a month, or around $3,500 per year. So my daily dividend yield is $9.67. I've set up this spreadsheet in a very specific way because it shows you everything you need to know about the stocks that we're trading. So if we look at any individual line, you can see the company Apollo, here's the symbol, its current price, and this is loaded automatically. I'm using numbers, so I've got it pulling that stock price. When the market's open, it pulls the current price. It has the number of shares that I currently own, and then the dividend yield that I'm receiving based on what its yield is. And you can see if I open up, there's actually a formula. So this one pays 15 cents times 4, so that would be annually. So 15 cents every quarter gives us 60 cents per year. So the dividend yield on this stock at its current price of $6.09 is 9.85%. One of the things that I've done is I've made this spreadsheet automatically highlight in green all of the dividend yields that are above a specific amount. If I click over here, you can see that anything over 6.5% will fill with a green fill. Now, if I have a stock that the dividend is less, then it would actually fill it red in that column. And that's something that I may not want to increase my investments in. I am always looking for high paying dividends, and so that's typically between like 6 and 10% is what my goal is. The next column is kind of the value that I have. Because I'm Canadian, I often have American investments and Canadian investments, so I just have them mixed in the chart, but I do have it currency converted. So down at the bottom you can see all of my holdings in US dollars, and then the subtotal of the Canadian ones, and then the total value of my portfolio with the currency conversion, the US dollar added to the Canadian dollar gives me the total in Canadian dollars. Same thing with the dividends. The dividend payout that's estimated is based on the number of shares that I hold. The current value of Apollo is $2,892 or 475 shares. Each share is going to yield 60 cents per year. So then I can estimate that those 475 shares at 60 cents will pay me $285 in the next 365 days. Subsequently, for each of these, I can go through. So I can get a pretty good idea of what is going to happen. Like, I know that these 3 Amazon shares that I've set up in this portfolio don't pay a dividend at all, so I have 0 estimated annual dividend. Also, what I can do is I can look down here and I can see that the total dividend payout of $3,528 divided by the total current value will give me a dividend yield of 4.98%. What that means is if the stock price doesn't move, if at the end of the year I'm going to collect 4.98% in dividends. The next thing we'll look at is how I use this chart to decide what to purchase. Now, one of my personal rules of investing is invest for forever. So because of that, a lot of these dividend purchases, I'm never ever going to sell them. So I don't buy them low and then sell them high. I literally just keep buying. What that means is that I have to decide what I want to buy next and not think about selling. So that's where I've set up this column right here, which is the percent of account. And what I've done is similarly to the dividend yield column, I've got these rules in here. So anything greater than 5% will show as a green fill. I know that I'm not going to be purchasing any stocks that have green. Whereas if they have less than 4%, then that's something I should be considering. This chart just literally tells me, Interpipeline, I only have 100 shares of it, its total value is $2,600, and it's only worth 3.7% on my account. The cash that I have in here in Canadian dollars is $3,100, and because I would use this account through a brokerage, I would want to be buying at least $3,000 worth of stock at any given time. This last column allows me to type in whatever number I want. In this case, like if I have 2,500, it would tell me how many shares I could purchase of each of these stocks based on $2,500. So I have $3,100 in there. Let's leave $100 in there and say $3,000 is what I'd like to purchase. I look down the account to see if there's any cells or any stocks that I have that are less than my 4%. And of course this one in red, Interpipeline. And it says that for $3,000 I can purchase 113 shares at the current price of $26.47. And this is where I can play with this chart, and I could say, okay, well, if I purchased 113 shares, that I would manually change this to 213 shares, and we'll see what happens. Now, of course, this cash was $3,100, and I would have to drop that down to $100 because I've just invested $3,000. Brings my total cash equivalent back to $70,000. None of these cells are red anymore. There are times that come up where I won't have an actual red cell in here. So in that case, I would just like read the numbers and I would look through and I would say, okay, well, these ones like 4.2%. But if that is the case, if that happens, I often look at these cells that are highlighted in green and I look to see if there's a correlation to make sure that I have enough of those in my account, because really I want to drive this yearly yield up as much as possible. Currently sitting at 5.24%. If I add to any of these positions this 8.17 yield, then I will make more money. In the future, as this money grows, if I get to $3,000 again, as I've been making deposits or collecting the dividends monthly, this amount grows to $3,000. And you can see the next one that I'm going to be purchasing is Brookfield. Again, for $3,000, I could purchase 185 shares, and so on and so forth. I would just continue to go through and build my account that way. So always buying the position that has the least amount in it relative to the whole portfolio. That's today's video. I hope you guys are enjoying my channel. Please do me a huge favor. Click that like button down below. It helps me a lot. If you've got any comments, please leave them. Love to hear your stories, your feedback, whatever you guys want to comment about. Thank you so much. Let's get rich together.